everyone, and welcome to Bear Clooney Watches channel. As you can see, we are in Bear Clooney's watch studio right away. And before we start, I just wanted to once again remind you to please subscribe to my channel, and also to remind you about my commitment that once we reach 10,000 subscribers, Bear Clooney will be doing a watch giveaway. Now, today we have a very interesting timepiece. It's a very hot timepiece on today's watch market. It's sold out by Timex. It is highly in demand, and it is certainly a home run when it comes to Timex as a company. They've been doing some interesting things lately, predominantly in the aspect of interesting reissues of their famous vintage pieces. And they're doing it kind of right. So what watch is here? It is, as you can see, Q Timex 1979 reissue. Well, let's open the box. It's quite nice box, and let's take a look at the watch that everyone wants from Timex. It's presently sold out. It's selling above the retail on secondary market. And it tells you that piece can be budget piece. It can be very entry level watch, and it can be quite in demand if company does certain things right, as I think they did in situation of this watch. So here we go. Let's take it out of the box. I'll just move the box on side, and please don't give me a hard time saying, hey Bear, why are you presenting an expensive watch in white gloves? I really don't do this in the fashion of showing off or treating pieces more and above what they are. It is just as a respect to my viewers, ensuring that the presentation of the watch is right without greasy fingerprints, without staring at my hairy knuckles, and paying attention to what is the star of the show. And today it is the Q Timex. The watch was originally named Q Timex to signify the end of mechanical movement and Timex's entrance into quartz. The reissue maintains the original features, including this Q below the 12 o'clock. Also, true to the era, this woven wave a stainless steel bracelet, and a functional battery hatch, rotating top ring, and luminescent hour markers and hands. Timex was known primarily as a maker of affordable and reliable mechanical watches, and the brand first entered the quartz market in 1972. By this time, quartz was considered new and cool, and it was gaining considerable market share, so Timex's quartz watches wore their quartz branding proudly on their dials with a prominent Q logo. So the Q line created a number of interesting and varied styles. The watch that inspired the one that I'm showing you here right now was released in 1979. The reissue here is truly a faithful recreation of the historical model, with many of the small period correct details that make this cool watch and make this watch wanted by many. Of course, Timex is known primarily for making quartz watches today, so it's not significant shift from what they're doing anyway today. But it is significant from the perspective that this watch truly resembles the timepiece from 1979, and I think this is what brings this watch to the attention of those who appreciate vintage look. As you can see, the dial is beautiful. It's a navy blue, and I think it's kind of nicely in combination with this Pepsi bezel. Pepsi, because of its colors red and blue, the blue of the dial doesn't necessarily match perfectly the blue component of the bezel, but it goes really well, and the combination of the colors are just perfect in my opinion. The movement is very thin. It's 4.15 millimeter thick, including the battery. And one cool thing about this watch is really simple to change the battery. You just use the coin to replace the battery by unscrewing and screwing back this hatch in the back of the watch. The case of the Q is neo-vintage goodness through and through. No question about it. With its hooded lugs, the 38 millimeter case, it's truly 70s design, and it has a nice transition. It has a nice transition from one type of finish to the next. It's really done well for the price of the watch, which is 299 Canadian dollars retails. And then obviously on eBay and secondary market, this watch sells for significantly more, as presently it is not available to purchase directly from Timex. So if you ask me, these transitions from, like, if you pay attention here, from this brushed to shiny steel, the transitions are very well done for the watch of this price level, and probably the nicest I've seen on a Timex. There is usually no transitions. There is just a one choice of the brush or shiny. Here we have a quite nice transitions, and I love on this watch the slim profile. The other thing that you noticed is the double dome sapphire, which adds to this vintage look, and I think it looks really cool. The slim profile of the case and the double domed sapphire really look cool. So, as I said, the case is segmented via multi-faceted mid case, the case back, the bezel and crystal. So the whole thing looks and feels much slimmer than dimensions might suggest, which are basically total is 12.4 millimeters. The bezel is non-ratcheting. It's just a friction bezel. See, there's no clicking. Just a friction bezel, which is bidirectional, and it's expected. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe the original was just the same. It has a decent degree of resistance, and I think the coolest thing that gets everyone hyped up about this watch is the Pepsi combination, which seems to be the flavor of this last couple of years. Pepsi is definitely the flavor that in a watch world is getting everyone's attention. So that color scheme adds to the appeal of this watch. Now, one cool thing is obviously the bracelet itself, which is relatively nice for wearing. It feels very smooth. One cool thing is you can adjust this very easily by lifting this up and sliding the clasp to perfectly position it based on the size of your wrist. The movement inside the watch is nothing amazing. It's a Seiko SII Epson PC33, relatively inexpensive quartz caliber, designed for number of different Seiko, Lorus, Pulsar models. And you know what? You can tell if you look carefully. It's not aligned with the seconds on a dial. If you're looking at the second hand moving, there is no that hit on the specific second marker. If you ask me what's one thing that bothers me about this watch, that would be it. But I mean, I'm honestly a bit of a snob. I'm used to more expensive timepieces, and in this case, I guess you just have to accept that this is inexpensive watch with really inexpensive movement. I do like the lollipop style hands. It kind of looks cool. Obviously, we're not gonna pretend that this watch is not influenced by most famous Pepsi watch ever made, Rolex Pepsi. So to some that might be something they don't like, to some it actually be additional appeal to this watch. The bracelet is truly great vintage throwback. It's ideally paired with a case Timex calls the style woven. I explained how the fitting for the bracelet is really cool and easy, and you can make it perfectly sized for yourself. So that's it. There is a couple of really cool things from this easy to replace battery hatchet there to the really cool bracelet. Bracelet is produced in China, and actually when you get the watch it tells you Movement Japan, bracelet in China. Timex is a very transparent company, honest company. They don't try to, as I said, they don't try to pretend what they're not, and that's probably part of their success. So there you go. This is one of the hottest timepieces on the market today. It is the Q Timex. If you can get it at the retail, I would say you will not regret it. It's definitely a fun piece. It is attractive, and Timex, I think, hit a home run with this one. So once again, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let's go and grow together, and let's continue search for perfect timepiece together. All the best to all of you from Bear Clooney.